So, my favourite cookbook is the Dishoom cookbook, and they have lots of restaurants. They started out with just one or two, but they've got quite a few restaurants now around London, and they actually have just opened one up in Manchester as well. But they do really, really incredible Indian food. And my favourite recipe has to be the house black dal, which is delicious. It's a real labour of love. It involves stirring every 20 minutes for quite a few hours, so it's one where you're just stuck in on a Sunday and you've nothing to do. But when it's made, it is delicious, and it has lots of butter added in at the end, so really, really good. Served with like breads, things like that. But yeah, that's my favourite recipe from the Dishoom cookbook. So last meal it would have to be a curry. on brand, on theme. But yeah, I definitely just have a huge selection of delicious curries and breads and rices. Yeah, that would be my last thing.
My favourite recipe is plain pancakes. I make it every year, or I used to when my girls were around more. They still ask for it now. Plain pancakes with lemon juice or orange juice or their favourite Nutella. Anyway, I get it from my favourite recipe book, which is the Good Housekeeping cookery book. And this particular one is the 50th anniversary edition, which I've just worked out is 27 years old. And this book I thought was very extravagant back in the day, and it cost me £25, which I suppose is pretty extravagant for a recipe book. Anyway, if you have a look, page 418 is where the plain crepes are, and you can see, hopefully if I hold it up to the camera, it's pretty battered in that area. I can just about see the recipe, which I usually double because everyone eats more than you think they're going to, and it's my go-to one. I love this book, and I've kept it. It's moved around the world with me. It's got no spine on it anymore, but I love it. It means a lot to me. My death row meal would have to be either my own roast chicken with all the trimmings, roast potatoes, cauliflower cheese, I love vegetables, all of it, or Hungarian goulash, which can be done in a slow cooker with sour cream. It doesn't need to even have rice with it. I love it. That would be my meal. Or maybe two with crepes.
So this is one of my favourite cookery books. I have quite a few, but this one, it's called The Farm Table, and it's by Julius Roberts, who is essentially he's a farmer, but a cookery writer, Instagrammer, worth a follow on Instagram actually, has some amazing recipes on there. But this particular recipe that I go to regularly from his book is for epic tarragon roast chicken. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just yum. So essentially it's just a roast chicken, plain old roast chicken. You pop a chicken in the oven at really high temperature with lots of cloves of garlic underneath for about half an hour. Then you turn the heat right down and you cover it with cream, white wine, mustard, and lashings of tarragon, lots of tarragon chopped up, and then just pop it in and it looks after itself, and it's just gorgeous. So chicken and tarragon is one of my favourite combinations, and this for your Sunday lunch with a big pile of roasties is just perfect. So if I was waiting on death row and somebody said this could be your last meal, what would it be? Something fairly simple, I think. So I love going to France, and if I'm in France, my go-to, which I search out and can always find, is a steak with Roquefort sauce and chips. I love it. So a big ribeye steak, medium rare, loads of Roquefort sauce, big pile of chips with loads of salt. That'll do for me.
So this is one of my favourite cookery books. It's by a young lady called Jo Pratt, and it's called In the Mood for Entertaining. And it's a great book. It's a mixture of lots of different recipes and different sorts of entertaining. So some of them are labelled girls' night in, boys' night in, barbecue recipes, summer party recipes. So it looks at different types of events that you might have. And in this book, one of my favourite recipes is this one. It's a recipe for roast cod with dressed crab mash, and dead easy to make and really, really impressive as long as you like crab. Essentially what you need is a really fresh piece of fish from your fishmonger. Stuff from the supermarket probably won't cut it. And then you don't really need dressed crab, but I just tend to use some of that bought 50-50 crab meat, darkened brown and white crab meat. Really easy to make. Lots of it you can make in advance, so very, very impressive, but very easy thing to do. And the sauce that goes with it is absolutely wonderful. So yes, roast cod with dressed crab mash, and essentially use a lobster bisque sauce. Really, really easy to make. So yeah, but Jo Pratt, fantastic book. Lots and lots of really interesting, innovative recipes in there. So if it was death row meal, what would I have? I think I'd probably have a plate of native oysters from Whitstable. And the best bit about that would be, well, two things. One, I'd probably have a little shot of Tabasco on the oysters, and it really wouldn't matter whether I was horribly ill afterwards, because it's my last meal anyway.
Okay, one of my favourite cookery books is actually this Bayesian Big Soup book, which I purchased on holiday, and it's my go-to for inspirations, and particularly the Bayesian seasoning, which is a nice base for good marinade of, you know, chicken, vegetables, meat. So this is one of my go-to for inspirations, and I love soup. I started cooking Bayesian soups about a year now, so it's quite nice, it's healthy, it's filling, and it's warm, and it's especially this time of year. If I was on death row and my last meal, it would obviously be a 3-course meal, starting off with probably some king prawns with a nice bit of bread, saucy garlic, lots of chilies, and then followed by either like dauphinoise potatoes and lamb chops with some sorted green beans and broccoli, or mac and cheese with some lamb chops, either or both. And then for dessert, I'll have my warm apple crumble with some vanilla ice cream. That would be my last meal.
My go-to recipe book is this, and I've got my favourite recipe in here. It's my, let me just get it, there you go. It's well worn, got lots of food on it. It's African sweet potato stew. It's my favourite. A friend gave it to me years ago, and I've got this great recipe book. I put all of the recipes that I find in magazines. Instead of having bits of paper everywhere, I just write them all in here. I've had it for years. My mum bought it for me, it's great. But yeah, so mine is the African sweet potato stew. It's my favourite, really nice. So yeah, and all the family like that. So that's my favourite recipe. My death row meal would probably be a classic 70s starter. It'd be prawn cocktail with lots of avocado, and then I think for my dinner I would have my son's roast dinner, which would probably be a roast lamb with all the sides with cauliflower cheese, which my daughter normally makes. That's normally really nice, and he does lovely roast potatoes. And yes, I'll probably have a ribeye steak for the roast. That's really nice, and it's homemade gravy. And for dessert, probably a sticky toffee pudding with lots of cream and custard. Yum.
So I don't actually have a favourite recipe book. I think that probably has something to do with the fact that I'm 28 and nobody my age seems to really use cookery books so much anymore. But my go-to recipe is either Tuscan chicken pasta or Tuscan sausage pasta. My friends prefer the sausage variation. But essentially it's off the back of a dish that I had at Cafe Piccolo several years ago, and I came home and just tried to recreate it, and it's stuck ever since. So if I had a death row meal, it would definitely be my mum's spaghetti carbonara. It specifically has to be cooked by my mum. I make a really good carbonara, but it's never the same as when my mum makes it, so that would be my death row meal.